All right, guys, got an exciting install today. This is the Huracan Fab tailgate storage. One of the better built products I've seen in a long time. It's gonna open this direction. Really nice gas struts, nice carpet liner, a lot of useful space. And yeah, we're gonna install it. So these come with pretty good instructions, which is gonna make this a lot easier, but I'll kind of walk you through how I do this. So we're starting with step one, which is removing this, I think they call it a factory inspection plate or tailgate inspection plate. I'm using a T20 and it should be pretty easy. All right, and then it comes with a template. So now I'm going to fine tune left to right, forward to back. It's kind of tricky to get it lined up at first, but what I'm looking at here is making sure this edge looks a lot like this edge. You can see it's a little bit off. It should be shifted this way a little bit. And then next we'll do forward and backward. So the instructions don't tell you front to back how to line it up. I'm not quite sure, but I'll be the test dummy here. So we took it and laid it upside down on here to see where the edges will sit. You can see there's a bit of a lip right here, and that is basically the exact same size as this template. So I'm gonna put it to where it lines all the way up to this edge. It's centered left to right, so if you see in there, it's up on that seam. It's right in that seam as well. And then I'm gonna cut the inside. These little tabs are to clear the hardware that's already on it all the way around. So we'll get to it. All right, so we gotta drill out all these rivets that hold this piece to the support underneath it. I'll show you a close-up on what I did on these ones. So you can see here, drilled one of them out, but basically this is what's gonna allow us to cut in this border and pull this off of the supports that are tucked back there. So first I'm gonna hit it with the punch. Not exactly center, but that's all right. This is Aiden from A-Stot Overland. Just want to be careful not to go through with a long bit and dent the other side. All right, so it's all traced with the cutouts I'm gonna make all the way around. Then we get cutting. All right, so we cut all the way around. Didn't cut here because that's where the cord goes in. This whole section. Now we gotta get the adhesive off of these to pull this whole section up. All right, so you can see everything's cut. This is what these rivets look like. Hold on. These are what these rivets look like. You can see if they're drilled out properly, you can separate this whole thing. Right, so to remove this structure, you want to drill out these two. You don't want to drill out that one. That's a mistake I made. No big deal, but these two are the ones on either side that allow this to stay in, along with some adhesive underneath it. And here's how we're pulling it out. Boom. So you need to cut that off so it'll sit in there. All right, so then we cleaned up the edges, vacuum and clean everything out of here. We test fitted and it fit perfectly. Had to trim some stuff just to make it fit better. Then you're going to use these custom rods here that clip in down there and then drop in to these channels here and click down. Then you can see the nut on the end of this. You'll tighten that down so that it's not loose in here. Now I got both of these in. I'm going to test it here in a second, but now I'm going to plug these back in. So after it's all test fitted, we put some Dynamat type stuff called Boom Mat in there. And then Aiden had the idea of using this Raptor liner stuff to finish off the edges that are exposed so it all looks black. So one of the things to pay attention to is when you set these tensioners, the bolt on the end of here, without this in here, it may not be right. So for example, this one was way too tight. It didn't allow for the movement that you need like that. Same with this one. This one also was rotated that way and getting caught underneath here. So you had to kick this one back down like that. And as of now, everything functions. So before we put this in, we sprayed everything and we put some Sikaflex underneath the whole edge. And then it's gonna be self-tapped in all the way around. All right, I didn't get a good video of it after the install. So here it is after being beat up for 5 or 6 days worth of off-roading, rain, snow, chains, everything rubbing up against it. Still perfectly sealed, waterproof. That's what's so impressive about this box. You can see carpet's clean. You can see in the earlier install video when I was talking about putting the edge of this right up against the plastic, this is what you're left with. Perfectly flush, right up against this plastic. It actually came out really good. One of the final things I'm thinking about doing is actually putting some silicone in this crease here, just to make sure it's sealed up from keeping water from getting inside of here. Obviously water and dust won't get inside the box itself because it's a sealed unit, but just keeping the actual tailgate clear of water, even though there's some holes here that theoretically water can get into. Probably gonna redo this, better coats with better material so it stays a little bit better. You can see how beat up this bed has gotten and how this is good, just dirty.